And hello to all my Taurus friends, I'd like to welcome you in. My name is Scott Sagent, and today I'll be doing your free Psychic Tarot reading for April 2023. Now today they have dialed up for my great Tauruses a four-corner spread. And a four-corner spread is a great spread for general readings because it looks at those four main areas that people usually ask about in tarot. We got the work corner, we got the financial corner, the health corner, and the ever-popular love corner, everybody's favorite. So we're going to take a little brush through all four of them, guys, a little stroll through the four corners. Spirit has asked that I conclude your reading, Taurus, with nothing extra at the end. Now, I usually view that as a good thing. That usually means, you know what? Taurus is relatively in good shape here in the month of April. We just want to give them a few little points here, little tidbits, and get them on their way. They're good. That's usually what it means, or it means that the spread is just going to be huge. But a four corners, it takes a lot for a four corners to be huge. So I really think my Tauruses are in great shape, and I thank you guys for being so easy on me this month. You guys are my easiest, shortest reading, more than likely. So let's get started with it right now, guys, because we're also going to conclude your reading with the runestone. That is the only thing we have to do after our four corners, so let's get started. The cards are shuffled. Like I said, I do that ahead of time to save us time, and I'm going to bring you in my overhead view so you can watch. I like to share my table with you so you can see what is going on. I lost my camera here. Using a new phone because my old one crapped out on me, so hopefully this gets our job done. I think we're on. There we go. These are the ritual cuts, cutting each deck into thirds, put them back together in a separate order. It satisfies the ritual aspect of tarot. It is the same procedure for personal private readings, so it's just like you're here with me now. Speaking of personal private readings, those are available on scottsagent.com. Wide variety of different services, guys. You love them all. Great ratings on all of them. Here we go. This is your four corners. The corner we start with is work. Work coming in right there. And that's short and sweet. As we move over here, this is love corner, everybody's famous, most popular one of all time. And then down here, this is finance. And down here, health. All right, so let's see what we got here. The inverts are not enough to matter, pretty well distributed actually. In fact, no specific story. Well, this one got 2 out of 3. And I do need an angel card there. That's actually the only corner that pulled an angel card. So this entire yellow deck of my angel cards is just going to be used for one right here. And it's going to be that one. All right, in case this gets off view, I will move the camera around so you can see it nice and clear. But that is that lets me also know that, hey, you know what? We don't have to do a discard to see if that needs to go upright because that one came in clear. So now we're 50-50, good distribution. So let's break it down and get on with your reading, shall we? My Taurus is my favorite sign of April. This up here is work. I'm going to look down here at finance. I like to read these two together because most people work in finance, you know, very intertwined for most people. Then over here we got, that's health. Sorry, I almost said love, but it's health. Health goes down there. And then we have love up here. Love is your big one. So, Taurus, let's see why. Let's get into it and translate, shall we? All right, here we go. I'm going to save that love one for last, guys, so stick with me in the reading. That is the big one. I want to make sure I give enough time and effort and energy into it. The rest of your stuff, though, not so bad. I'm going to start with health, guys, and then we're going to move into your work finances being read together. So for health, the first thing that comes up here, we have a little bit of a bankruptcy loss. Now, that usually means, hey, you know what? You just spent a lot of money on something for health. This would be like if you just bought a really good treadmill or exercise equipment. Hey, that's a lot of money being spent. Maybe you got a personal trainer. They're not cheap. That's something like that. Or this can be like, hey, you know what? This is the energy of that event. So this would be like, hey, you know what? You feel a little like you need to get a little healthier here. You're a little left out in the cold, so to speak. A little isolated. You need the warm and fuzzy going on with health, and it's not here. So that's fine because guess what? Taurus, you can do something about that anytime you choose to, anytime you want. And the next thing they show here, coming right off of it, is really kind of looking up at the sky and not really sure what to do here. So maybe some of you are a little bit confused about, you know, what you should actually do. Hey, do I want to diet? Do I want to, you know, change the way I eat? Do I want to exercise? Do I want to exercise just a little bit? Do I want to do both at the same time? So there's a lot of stuff going on for health. Now, I just gave you one simple example. This can be different things for different people. It kind of depends on what you got going on. So hopefully I've given you enough context that you can make it make sense to you. That's what this is all about, after all. And it is a general reading. So we are sharing that bubble energy with all the great Tauruses. So keep that in mind too. So what they show here is that that's really what you need to get over. You need to get over this confusion, which means you need to be sure. You need to be certain about what it is that you're trying to do with health. And then, like I said, the good news is that you can change this isolationism anytime you want. And maybe for some of you, you got to do something in a group. A group activity would be better for you. I mean, it really depends on the person. But what they're saying here, the vibe I get, is that a lot of my Tauruses will do better in groups here than doing it by themselves. And groups is a good thing too, because let's say let's say it's a small group, okay? Just you and a friend are going to a gym, or you and a friend are doing a diet together. I use those examples just because they're easy. Everybody understands them. Very simple. Well, if you're doing that, then you guys are holding each other accountable. Even if it's your spouse, it doesn't matter who this is. You guys are holding each other accountable. You're checking in every day. You're conversing like, oh, what do you think about, the chicken dinner, the chicken and rice? Oh, it's terrible. Oh yeah, whatever. So you have a good banter. You have a good camaraderie going on. And with two people, like I said, it just makes it last a little bit longer. And for whatever reason, Tauruses are better here in groups, at least in the health corner, than they are without it on their own. So keep that in mind for health, guys. As April presents itself and as we move through April, those are just opportunities that you can choose to take advantage of or not. Let's do your work and finance, guys. I'm going to do work first. Work shows, first of all, it's a tough call. I don't think they're talking about your boss here. It is the card that does mean the boss, but they didn't show it was a person. So I'm going to go with the energetic definition because of that. So what we have here going on in the work corner, they show that, you're not really being sharp with your decision making. You guys are not taking the authority here. Maybe that means some of you are not stepping up. You're not living up to your true potential. Maybe your true potential is some other job. Maybe it is not where you're at right now. I'm just kind of planting these seeds for you here in case that's the event, in case that is the circumstance for you. But whatever it is, they want you to try to do something a little different here. And by saying, get your mind around what it is, what you're trying to do, well, that just helps kind of push the whole thing through. Then if you're very clear and very sure, just like they said for health, if you know about what you're trying to do, then all you have to do is do it and decide when to do it. And you get the timing right. And then, the angels and the spirit guides are helping behind the scenes to help align. And that's what manifesting is. So you're basically, all these things are colliding at the same time, just because you're very clear about what your intentions are. Now, what they do show also for the work corner is hard work. So that is either describing what is going on here, Taurus. You guys are working really hard in April, and that's fine. That's good. It's usually good for money if you work hard, right? We're going to talk about money momentarily, but for work, that's what they're showing. They're showing putting in the work, putting in the time, putting in the effort, energy, and so forth. This can also be about making more money, but also learning new things in the work corner. So some of you may be going through like a training or something like that, or learning this new side thing that is going to maybe make you more money, maybe benefit you later down the road. Maybe some of you are getting a certification. All that kind of stuff comes up here. It's apprenticeship, learning something new, and hard work. That's what they talk about for work. So keep all that stuff in mind, guys. And your work corner is a big place too, because it's, for most people, it's a job, J-O-B. But for everybody, that's not working right now, this can be about your hobbies and interests. This can be about retirement if you're of that age, what you put your time into because you're free, you have free time that you don't put into work. You still have a work corner. It still exists here. This can be about college, learning new things. So we kind of covered a bunch of bases there, entrepreneurship and so forth. So giving you enough context there, you can make it make sense. Let's get into finance. Financial Taurus, they talk about first. There are some choices to be made here financially, and they want you to make a good choice. We don't want you stuck, because there's a lot of different ways it can go. Spirit, with this card here, it basically means that there are 7 different ways, 7 different paths or choices that you can make. And that's, each one is very different down your financial road. Some of them lead to wealth, accumulation, doing very well off, saving. Others are in the middle, and then you have some on the other end which are not good. You end up in debt. You end up spending too much. All that kind of stuff. Not making enough. All that kind of stuff comes up here. So what the Spirit is saying is you have to make very sound, good choices with finance in April because you have a lot of options, and options are good as long as you choose the good options, okay? So that's the main advice there. And here's why they want you to choose the good option, because they're saying that some of them are really bad. Some of them are really bad, coming in as toxic. Toxic here. I got my Hierophant card inverted. It basically means, not doing things the right way, not doing things by the book, or just extreme toxicity that we need some purging going on here. So this is hopefully something they want you to avoid. Hopefully you're not there. If you are there, you know what you have to do. You have to do things the right way. You have to dig yourself out of whatever you dug yourself into. That's what comes up there. So they're kind of letting you know this here, that there are some toxic paths. So it is extremely important in April that you guys are aware of this, not to scare you, just to shine some light on the fact how important your financial decisions are. Hey, if you're thinking about going off on a whim and putting a bunch of money in a startup, or you're thinking about throwing a bunch of money in a stock startup, or you're thinking about buying a new car in April, all these kind of things, you might want to wait. You might not want to do that right now, because they're saying here that there is a path here that you don't want to go down. So this energy is probably going to move and scatter as we go through April. So maybe by May, this is a non-starter at all, or maybe it is. We're not going to know until we read for May. But that's what comes up here, is doing things the right way. We don't want that toxic path. And the last kind of moving part in here in the finances is how fast we have changes coming in. Things can happen very fast. This is my fastest card in the deck. They're basically saying that this can wear you out. This is so quick that it's like so many things happening all at once, and it just fries your brain. It's just like, oh man, I just need a nap. That's really the energy of what's going on here. So we have, and that is actually a wand, which ties back into work corner stuff. So work can be changing, and that affects your finances greatly too. So just because you have it doesn't mean you should necessarily spend it. So just make sure what you're doing with your money is going into good investments, okay? Very sound, good investments. And before we get into your love corner, which is your big one, by the way, it's your big, large corner. Lots of cards going on here. I need to tell you about the moon cycles, and that is going to affect this, especially depending on what you have going on for love. So let's cut away for those moon cycles. I want to tell you about the gemstone too, and we're going to come back and nail this love corner for you. Okay guys, it is moon cycle forecast time. Very simple set of moon cycles this month. Going to be a very quick pull. Also going to tell you about a brand new gemstone in the shop, but first those moon cycles. The moon cycles are starting to move through earlier in the months. So now we have the full moon that hits first in April. That comes through April 6th. That is the peak, which basically means from April 1 through about the 10th, it's going to be very strong energy for getting things out of your life. That is what the full moon does. I call it the garbage truck of the universe. Get anything out of your life that you don't want there. Use that energy to your benefit. It's already out there. The energy's already there with the moon. Might as well use it to your benefit. Much easier to walk downstairs than walk upstairs, swim downstream than swim against the current. That's what the moon cycles do for you. So it doesn't matter what you're trying to get out of your life either. The universe does not care whether this is breaking habits, whether this is getting rid of people. Some of you actually have to get rid of people and some cordage in your life, and all that stuff doesn't matter what it is. Much better placed early in April. Even if it's cleaning out a closet, a garage, getting rid of old things, maybe you got to sell something. That is all full moon energy, much better placed early in April. Adversely, we have the new moon, which comes through April 20th. April 20th is the key there. I can't say to focus on bringing new stuff in the end of the month anymore, because the 20th is moved up far enough here where, the end of the month is getting more back into some full moon energy. So the focus for bringing new things into your life, manifesting in things that weren't there before, is the third week of April. April 20th is the apex. It doesn't have to be on the 20th though. Any kind of time around there. Let's call it the 15th through the 25th. Pretty strong vibration there for bringing new things in, whether you're trying to attract brand new love, whether you're trying to do something new with work, get a new job, do something new in the health corner, or do something new with your money. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's brand new, it's much better placed under the new moon, peaking on April 20th, but anytime right around there is key. And like I said, don't wait too long into the month to get something new going, because if you do, you're going to bump into that full moon energy eking its way through from May, and we don't want to do that. So that is your moon cycles, guys. Like I said, short and sweet there, but let's talk about the gemstone. I'm really proud to bring this one to you here. This is the first gemstone that is in the shop that is actually a permanent part of the Scott Sagent table, and it's right here. It's a little piece of sodalite. Sodalite is the gemstone for this month. month of April that we are releasing and debuting for the month. And sodalite is, I call it my wisdom stone. It is good for many different things. I'm going to be posting that on the shop page of my little research bracket there, my little graphic with all the great things sodalite does for health, for metaphysics, and for the whole bit. I call it my wisdom stone. It's sitting right underneath my ruby record keeper. So we have wisdom on top of wisdom there. And this is a wonderful stone that you guys will enjoy. And the full write-up is available on scottsagent.com. Check that out. You guys will love it. Let's get back to your reading. Okay, Taurus, I am back for that love corner, and I did just notice right now that there were a couple people court cards that came up here that I did not verify if they were people or not. I just did that off screen, and Spirit basically said we're using the energetic definition of both. So no people coming up directly. They don't want to tie that down too tight to people here in the love corner. So let's begin. The Tower card comes in first. This is Tower on an invert, so this means fast change. The crumbling, the taking down of the old so you can build new, build it different, build it better. That kind of vibe. Now, when the tower is inverted, it means that it's still quick change, but you can kind of see this coming. This would be like, let me give you an example of like a friend of yours. Everybody's got one here who, you know what? You just know that the relationship that she is in is not going to last. Okay? We know eventually this is going to run its course. They're going to break up and so forth. So you can kind of see the writing on the wall that it's going to happen. Whether she can or not, who's to say? But you can see that, right? So that is kind of what the energy is here, is that you can kind of see this happening as it goes. It's not like it's a complete surprise. It doesn't dumbfound you, take you off guard. You can kind of see this coming. So it's still quick though. So the change still happens rapidly, just like your friend's breakup would have. Okay. You knew it was going to come, but guess what? It just took like 5 minutes and he got all his stuff and left and never went back. Okay, so that's kind of the energy of what's going on here with your love corner. So what does that mean for you specifically? It depends on where you're at, but we have fast change coming in here that you were kind of expecting. Doesn't change the fact that it's quick. It just means that, hey, we got the change. We got moving parts going on here. We got some, storm rolling through, knocking the dead limbs off the trees. So guess what? The new growth from the trees can begin. Okay, so it's a process. It's a cycle. So that's what they show here. So depending on, whether that's like a breakup situation for you or whether this is, hey, you know what, me and the husband, we're going to go and redo this whole room. We're going to gut it. We're going to, paint the walls. We're going to do the floor over again. That's a quick change, especially if you decide to do it in a weekend, right? So it's not saying it's an actual breakup here, but that's a quick change. It's something that is completely different than the way it was before. So whether, it really depends on where you're at. It really depends on where you're at. Now, they give us some clues here. So that's what we lean on. That's what we have to move toward. The first one is that this happens early. This does not happen late in April. If you're, moving through April and you're like, where is it? Where is it? I know it's supposed to happen here sometime. Where is it? It could just not be for you, but for most of you, this is going to happen early. They're letting you know, and that's when most people view my videos anyway, so that's good information for me to share with you because you're going to be ready right now for it. It's basically saying, hey, here it comes. And it is also a correspondence through the air. So this may have to do with something like an email, a text message, an important phone call early in April. In the family corner, it's another word for the love corner. It's a big place too, because anybody close to your heart can come in here. So this can be a message from a friend. This can be a message, a correspondence from a family member. It doesn't have to be relationship partner. What if you're single? You still have a love corner. That's the point here, guys. So very important correspondence coming through. I also tell people when that card comes up to check your old emails just in case, because that's Spirit's way of saying here, there's something that might come through that is important that you may have missed if we didn't talk about it right here. The other clue they give us here is we have an inaction with the mindset. So they show a lot of you are being not very decisive about what action you want to take here, what you want to do with this change. Even though you see it coming, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know if you want to move to an apartment, you want to move to a house. Hey, that affects the family. So that's what I'm saying is that this, I don't want to tie it down too tight. It can be change in a wide spectrum of different ways. But whatever this change that they're referring to for you is, they show that you don't really know what to do with it right now. And, it makes me feel like you don't necessarily have to rush it. Otherwise, they would have been saying, we need action. Here they're saying you actually, even though the change happens quick, the decision making does not have to. It's kind of counterintuitive advice than what you would expect, but for some people, that will make a lot of sense. Last thing we have here is chakra clearing. It's a very interesting thing to come up here. It is basically saying, call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. I pay less attention to the shapes, and I pay more attention to the chakras being opened. Now, for some of you, if you know certain shapes have a great significant meaning to you, this could be their way of saying, Spirit's way of working in mysterious ways and letting you know, hey, something to do with the love corner here with this shape. Okay, very relevant to whatever that means to you. For everybody else, they're talking about chakra clearing. Chakras are important to have cleared here. Let me give you an example. If, let's say, hey, I wish I could understand my partner better, where he or she was coming from. Could have a chakra bound up. Hey, you know what? I really wish that I could get over my ex. Could have a chakra bound up. That energy, when it gets stagnant, it doesn't move. And bad things happen when it gets stuck. So chakra clearing is what they talk about here, and I just so happen to have a product for chakra clearing. It is a chakra scrub. It goes through the 7 chakras, 1 through 7, and it kind of looks at this area. It consults spirit essentially, and it says, hey, what is the issue here? Where do we need to work? What kind of meditations we need to do, and so forth like that. So something worth checking out on the website, guys, if that interests you. And pretty good reading here all around. I'm looking through one more time, and there's just some important information. Like I said, they feel Tauruses are good. They're just giving you a little thing here and there and sending you off on your way to live April in strength. We're going to grab this runestone right now, guys. I'm just giving them one more swirl, and we're ready here for the runestone for Taurus. It's going to be this one right here, and this is the rune of strength. We have strength coming in. Runestone also available as a personal product now, and that is my quick turnaround product in case you guys want your own runestone and you don't want to share it with the whole sign of Taurus, but for those that do. Strength, guys. You got to find the strength to go through this love thing, whatever this change is, you can do it. They're saying here you have all the tools. You have everything you need. So let's say go back to the room example. Hey, we're going to redo this room on a weekend. Ugh, tight deadline. Okay, well, guess what? You can do it. You got the strength. You can do it. Okay, as we move into work and finance, strength over there. Strength is, chopping out the wood, getting to work, getting things you have to do in work. In the work corner here, being very authoritative too, having the strength to do all of these things, and having the strength to avoid the bad financial decisions. Whatever they're trying to get you to avoid here, you have the strength. You have all the tools and knowledge. You don't have to go down these roads. You don't have to get into debt and take these bad credit cards and whatever else. Strength over there in the health corner is you really have to have the strength to clear up what you're trying to do. You have to know what you want to do first before you can have the strength and the willpower to really enact it and to put it into play. So you can see strength through all 4 corners of Taurus, and that wraps up what has been a very interesting reading. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe so you see the future readings. I do these every single month, and have a great April. I know you will.